worked our way through the Old Testament. We worked our way through the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all continuing the same Jewish message that was in the Old Testament. And it's about the Messiah, and it's about a kingdom, and it's about God's righteousness being restored to the earth. But one thing that's really been left out was back in Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, but what about the heaven? You know, and so we just kept moving on. Our most recent parts is we finished up a simple survey of the book of Acts, and we see nothing's changed in the book of Acts. We started and we saw it's still the emphasis on a kingdom, and in fact now there's an indictment against Israel because they've killed their Messiah. And now they've got to repent of their national sin of rejecting and killing their Messiah. And so we just go through, and even Paul's ministry in the book of Acts was caught up in that prophetic part of Israel's ministry that would go to the Gentiles. Because Paul says when he writes in Romans, he talks that his ministry was actually fulfillment of what Isaiah said, that I will make thee a light to the Gentiles. And Paul says in the book of Romans that he was a priest of God to the Gentiles. Yes. And so in the book of Acts, even Paul is carrying out a priestly ministry toward the Gentiles, one that fits right in line with Israel's prophetic program. And in fact, when challenged on his teaching, he said, I have taught none other things. When he's on trial, I've taught none other things than those which were spoken in the law and the prophets. Right. That's all I've done. And even his ministry, again, was a prophetic ministry as a priest to the Gentiles. By the way, a priest, it's the offering up of the Gentiles. And then the Concordant talks about it being the priestly ministry there. Now, the thing about that is when there is a priestly ministry, and we'll look at this more in a bit. If you need a priest, it's because you have alienation.
Yes.
Okay? And when alienation's gone, priesthood's gone. Because the priest is a stand between, and he stands between a God and a people who are alienated from one another. And so it's a priesthood. There's always alienation involved. Now, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to pick up on this series. So that was a introduction to catching us up how we got here.